Every day, thousands of people across the US are approved for their mortgage applications. At the same time, or on the flip side, so many people are denied their applications, and sometimes in the middle of a contract. Guys, this can be one of the most frustrating, most terrifying experiences, but I want to tell you there may be hope. We're going to talk about it today. If this has happened to you or someone that you know, stay tuned because you've got some really good information coming up. All right, guys, so let's get to it. So basically, you've been denied, or you know someone that's been denied for a mortgage application. You're frustrated, you're discouraged, you're feeling like, man, I give up. I'll just rent for the next 8 years. And I got to tell you, I've been there, guys. I've been there myself. I was denied for a mortgage application many years ago, 3 days before my closing. It was the most frustrating thing. I've got kids. My wife and I had our entire home packed up. We were selling that house. We were basically homeless. We were going to stay in a hotel. Fortunately, 3 weeks later, a lender was able to get it done. 3 weeks later, we were denied by a bank and a lender came through and took care of us. Guys, it turns out I wasn't in the business back then, but it turns out I work for that same lender today. Go figure. But the point is that, you know what? Credit denials can be frustrating, but don't get discouraged. Don't give up hope. Watch this video, the remainder of this video, so you can understand what to do about a denial. Okay, so what is a denial? Well, basically, that's when the particular creditor that you're working with has underwritten the file and determines that something about the application is not acceptable based on the rules that they are lining things up against or holding you to. So why is a denial issued? Well, a denial is issued because it has to be legally. The underwriter has to make a decision. They can't just say, yeah, sorry, maybe we'll think about it. No, they've got to either approve it or deny it within a certain amount of time. Okay, now what do you do if you get a denial? Well, the important thing to remember is stay cool, okay? Don't give up hope. Talk to a lender, another lender that doesn't have the same overlays. What are overlays? Well, let's go back to that first lender. Okay, so say, for example, for some reason during the process, they had to re-pull your credit, and now your credit scores went from 700 to 620, okay? And maybe that particular lender has a 640 minimum credit score overlay. All right, or rule. Now you don't qualify, right? You're below that 640 and you get denied. But another lender may have a 620 minimum credit score and they'd be able to underwrite your file and approve it just fine as long as everything else looks good. Well, that is a situation where just speaking to another lender would save your deal, okay? In my case, at the time, my wife was self-employed. Our tax returns were set up a certain way, and the lender that I was working with was required to use 2 years of tax returns. But not all lenders, based on the guidelines and based on the exemptions that are given by the investors, not all lenders have to look at 2 years of tax returns when you have a business, okay? Sometimes we're able to look at 1 year. And in this case, in our case, it worked out for us, okay? That is an overlay that got in the way for us to get approved, but was no big deal for another lender, okay? So the lender I work for has no large, obvious, big overlays that get in the way of the raw guidelines. So for example, the lender that I work for now, when it comes to conventional loans, our minimum score is exactly what conventional says is the minimum score, which is 620. And by the way, if you didn't know this, if you've got two borrowers and one has a 600 score and one has a 700 score, guess what? Now we can average those two scores together and use a 650 to qualify you, FYI. Okay, so back to business. Say, for example, it's an FHA loan. Most lenders would say you're cut off at 600, maybe 580. FHA says, no, you can actually get an FHA loan with credit scores down to 500, all right? Now, 500 to 579 requires 10% down. But point is, that's an instant denial if you're down that low for most lenders. The lender I work for, we don't have that overlay. So we will do a loan with an FHA loan with scores of 500 to 579, as long as, of course, you qualify for all of the other requirements. So we'd have to underwrite it, but the point is, you won't get denied. If everything else looks good, you won't get denied just because your credit score is too low, okay, between 500 and 579. So there may be a way to get approved as long as your lender is fully capable and doesn't have those extra guidelines to get in the way. So the point is, reach out, all right? If you've got a situation where you've been denied, please reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Text me. My number's down below. You've got my calendar invitation or link there. You can set up a one-on-one appointment with me as soon as tomorrow, and we can talk about your situation. And I know that if you're under contract, time may be very, very important, and it may be time sensitive. I'm all about it, guys. I love challenging loans, and I love being able to say, you know what, they couldn't do it, but we can. It happened to me. It made me sick to my stomach, but man, we are still in that house today. And I really thank the lender that I now work for being able to save us many years ago. So I appreciate you guys watching. Again, don't let credit denials or mortgage application denials discourage you guys. You can do it. Just have a conversation with a loan officer and a lender that can get it done. Okay? We'll talk to you guys soon.